I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Now I feel safe when I go out there, man. You know, especially if you're my bodyguard.
Yeah, no, we've got your back, man. We've got your back. We're just getting some feedback to see if everyone's fine and if the YouTube link is working.
Okay.
So there's a big potential that a few people are at this very moment listening to our conversation. So
Okay.
if you're going to share any incriminating information, now would not be the time.
So
Um,
don't talk about how I'm only dressed from the waist up, right?
yeah, we won't mention that. We won't mention the fact you're wearing banana jammers and
Cookie Monster. I'm just kidding.
Cookie Monster. Okay. Just let's see if there's any feedback. Okay, we'll give it about 2 minutes and we can start at 5 past.
Okay, I'm
Uh,
gonna go grab a little bit more coffee. I'll be right back.
okay, cool. Okay, we'll give it about 2 minutes and we can start at 5 past. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab a little bit more coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. 3 viewers. What's up, guys? If you jumped on the call, we will start in 1 minute. Just waiting for Julian to refill his coffee. Your call is important to us. Please hold. Webinars.
Boom.
Oh, the man is back. Okay, cool. So, Julian, I'm going to ask you to mute your microphone quickly. It's at the top of the screen. And then I'm going to jump on quickly.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, what's up, Janice World? This is Conrad Barnes calling live from Cape Town, South Africa. First of all, before we start, I just want to say thank you for whoever is on this call, wherever you are, might be in this world, whether you're in China, Vietnam, or in the States, or in my home country, my beloved Namibia. Shout out to all Namibians out there. Woohoo! So guys, my story is very simple. I got involved in network marketing about almost 2 years now. Me and my best friend Franco jumped on board with legends like the myth Cliff Braun and Graydon Boswell himself, and together we built a few companies that I've gotten a taste of what this industry can really do for you, not only financially but as a person as a whole. And I could quite honestly say that in the last 2 years, my life has completely changed. It's taken a complete 180. I know it's so cliche. People say it all the time. But once you really dive into this industry and you get introduced to what the possibilities are, there's no other to describe it but to be cliche. So, but to get to the point, tonight isn't about me. It is about a great young man that I am blessed to call now soon to be very close friend. He just doesn't know it yet, and we are working together to build something absolutely magic. Um, I actually feel so honored to be able to introduce Julian. Julian started back in 2005, more than a decade ago in this industry, and he's built multiple six figures in multiple companies. He's done it over and over. He knows how to work it. And he's not only a great network marketer, he's one of the best life coaches and overall people you'll ever come across. Um, some crazy facts on Julian. Julian started his Jeunesse team after meeting up with Cliff a few months ago. Cliff basically just painted the vision to what Lighthouse Namibia is doing. And in 90 days, Julian has taken his team from zero to over 1,000 active distributors now. Are you insane? 90 days to 1,000 people. So clearly I need to find out what he's putting in his car. I need to find out what he's eating for breakfast, because this guy is an absolute beast. He's 28, looks 19, gets paid as if he's 55. And I'm going to hand it over to the boss, the legend, soon to be an African. I'm trying to get him down here to Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian Doan. Julian, you can unmute your microphone.
Man, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And you know, from the moment that we spoke, I could tell that we're going to become good friends. I mean, you and Franco, you know, you guys are great people. Just as leaders, you know, you demonstrate really great qualities that leadership has, and such as going out there, seeking for the knowledge, seeking for the information, and not waiting for it to come to you, but you going to it. It's definitely one of the major qualities it takes to become successful. And that's just becoming self-motivated. And more importantly, it's about being resourceful. You know, it's crazy. You know, I know you mentioned that I'm a life coach and everything. And, you know, I do trainings for people that are doctors, lawyers, CEOs, vice presidents, college students, whatever it is. Just people that want to take their life and experience a quantum leap. Maybe they're stuck, or maybe certain things are happening and they don't understand why. And I remember one of the trainings, I was talking to them, and I went around the room and I go, why do you think you failed? How many of you have failed before? And I mean, it's crazy, right? You have all these successful people, they're all raising their hands, some of them reluctantly. And I go, why do you think you failed? Why do you think you failed? Why do you think you failed? And, you know, sometimes people say, well, I didn't have the right money. I didn't have the right leadership. I didn't have the right people, or whatever it is. And the reality is when it comes down to it, a lot of times people think their failure is attributed to their lack of resources. But I beg to differ. I think the reason why people fail is lack of resourcefulness. I honestly believe that everything that we need to become successful is already out there. Everything we need to say or do to become successful, it's already been said, it's already been done. All we have to do is find the people that are where we want to be at, do what they do, say what they say, and we'll have what they have. I mean, I love what Cliff Braun said. You know, Cliff is one of my really good friends and mentors, and he said to me, he goes, Julian, if you knew what I knew, you would feel how I felt. And if you felt how I felt, you would do what we did. If you did what we did, you'll have what we have. And it's something that made so much sense, because when I first got started in this industry, I never had success before. You know, I've never made big money before. And I realized that if I came into this industry, an industry that I'm brand new at, and I try to do it on my own, it's not going to have results. Because based on results, if I knew how to become successful, I would have had it already. And so here's what I want to invite you to, okay? I know this call, I don't really have anything planned, to be honest with you. I'm making this up as we go, okay? I'm creating this training with you. And I just want to share something very, very powerful. You see, there's 3 types of knowledge in the world. Now, I'm totally making this up, but consider it anyways, okay? There's a lot of people a lot smarter than I am that would agree with me on this. And there's 3 types of knowledge. The first knowledge is I know what I know, okay? And we all know what we know, right? We know that we can speak English. We know where we live. We know whatever it is that you know, okay? So think about that. Think about things that you know, okay? You know how to read, you know how to do math, you know how to use the computer, you know how to go on Google Hangouts, right? And then the second type of knowledge is knowledge that I know that I don't know. And we're all aware of that. For me, I know that I don't know how to fly a plane. I know that I don't know calculus, whatever it is, right? So we all know what we don't know. And the reality is most people live their lives thinking that those are the only 2 knowledges in the world. And they look at the world through a filter of I know what I know and I know what I don't know. But the reality is that most of the knowledge out there in the world is knowledge that we don't know what we don't know. And that's where the impossible is created. The impossible, things that we only dream of, is created from what we don't know. And that's what's so amazing about it. Why do I share that with you? You know, one of my favorite guys in the world is a gentleman named John F. Kennedy. And John F. Kennedy was one of the United States, in my opinion, one of the greatest presidents in the world. And he was one of the presidents that brought hope back to America. I mean, there was no slander campaign, nothing like that. I mean, it's all about hope. And he said very eloquently when he came into office, he gave a speech and he says, you know what? We're going to put man on the moon in the next 10 years. In the next decade, we're going to put man on the moon. Now imagine how crazy that is, okay? At the time when he said that, 40 years prior, they barely invented the airplane. So think about that. They barely invented the airplane 40 years ago. And then now here comes a guy that says we're going to put man on the moon. Imagine for the longest time, the moon was just an object that they saw in the sky, okay? And he says, see that thing up there? We're going to go there. And he says, not only why do we do that? Why do we set that commitment? Why do we have that vision? It's because who it's going to require us to be to make that happen. Now, you set a lofty goal, an impossible future, as you will. And a lot of people say that's impossible. There's no way, there's no way, there's no way. Well, guess what? He didn't know how he was going to get there. All he knew that he was going to get there. He was open to the fact that there's things out there that he didn't know, and that's what he pursued. And so long story short, people came up to him. Scientists would say, John, we don't have the right materials to withstand the atmosphere, the heat. And you know what he said to them? He says, congratulations, you just found the part of the problem you get to solve. And what happened, he shifted their minds from, I know we don't have the right materials, right? The scientist is like, well, I know that we don't have the right materials, right? But you know what he shifted? He shifted their thinking to, I don't know what I don't know, which is, how can we find the money? And you know what? Because they focused on that, guess what they did? They found the money. They found the right materials. They got the resources they need. And long story short, they put man on the moon, not in 10 years, but 8 years. So 8 years. Now, what's crazy about that, now, if you're a country, you're not even a superpower if you haven't sent someone to the moon, if you haven't even sent someone to outer space. And, you know, they're actually talking about right now, the year 2025, they're going to put man on Mars, the first Mars mission. And so when I hear stuff like that, I mean, it's crazy. So why do I share that with you? Because I know when you hear an industry about network marketing, when you hear about the possibility of becoming a millionaire, when you hear the possibility of being able to travel the world, living a lifestyle second to none, living a lifestyle that you only dreamed of, it sounds impossible. It sounds unattainable. It sounds out of reach. Because from our perspective, from our experience, we don't really believe that we can do that. And I want to share with you that it's absolutely possible. How do I know? Well, my story is very, very simple. I'll give you guys the short version. You know, I grew up in California. My parents were immigrants from Vietnam. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we were poor, because we weren't. You know what I mean? We were lower middle class, right? And here's the deal with my family is that they worked very, very hard. Both my parents worked very hard. I never saw them really growing up. I always had babysitters, right? And then when I got older, I had the internet, I had TV to babysit me. And the reality is my parents worked very hard to provide us all the things we needed. We always had the things we needed. And, you know, and if we were lucky enough, or if I knew how to beg them enough, I could get what I want. And so that's kind of how I grew up. But, you know, for me, my story is, you know, I wanted to become successful. I knew that I wasn't going to be average. And here's what's crazy. You know, the things about leadership is that we're demanded to become leaders in this industry. We're leaders. And what's crazy about that is a lot of times people say, well, leaders are made, right? And the reality is leaders aren't made, right? Obviously, leaders aren't born. I honestly believe leaders are found. Why? Because we all have the potential for success. We all have the same opportunities. But what's the difference between people that succeed and don't is the people that succeed, there's a natural calling into them. If you're on this call, you're watching this, and you're the type of person that says someday, some way, somehow, I know I want to make it something big. I know I'm not going to be average. And you have that burning desire in your heart to want more. Then you know what? Guess what? You're destined to be a leader. You're destined to be successful. And it's all about finding the right opportunity. That's how I was. My whole entire life, I was a geek. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was a kid that was bullied in high school, made fun of, picked on. But for me, I knew I was going to be successful. I got started in this industry, like Conrad said, in 2005. And what's crazy is I didn't have a fast start. I didn't have success. My first 5 years, I barely made any money. So here's the good news. If any of you on this call have made more than $1,000 US, congratulations. You made more money than I did in my first 5 years. So what does that mean? That means if you made more than $1,000, you can take a break now for 5 years and you'll be caught up to me. Okay. So why do I share that with you? Because you know what? I didn't have the success. I didn't have the results. My first 5 years was spent going to every single meeting, going to every single training, taking notes, doing this, and being coachable. But you know what's crazy? I didn't have the results because I didn't have the belief in myself. And then 5 years into the industry in 2009, I met Cliff Braun. And Cliff Braun poured into me. I mean, he was the first leader that took the time to invest in me, to develop me, to train me, and got me to go to a program that changed my life. You know, a personal development, I guess, training, a transformational training. And that's when I really realized that success is an inside job. That success is not something that's going to happen to me. Success is going to be something that happens because of me. And so I started taking ownership of my life. I started taking responsibility for my life. I stopped being a victim. I stopped complaining. And I started realizing that if I wanted it, I had to go out there and I had to get it. I had to create it. And so the last 5 years, from 2009 to now, I've been blessed to make a lot of money in a couple different companies. And why have I gone from company to company if I made money? Well, once you start making money, you start realizing that there's certain things that are more important to you than money, such as integrity, character, and different things like that. And I love Jeunesse because Jeunesse is one of the first companies I met. I would truly say it's a 5-star opportunity. I mean, they have a 5-star leadership, 5-star products, 5-star compensation plan, 5-star system. I mean, everything is just 5-star. I mean, it's just amazing. And so I love what Conrad's doing. I love what Franco's doing, putting together this call to really paint the vision for you. I don't know what life is like out there in South Africa. I don't know what the statistics are, but let me tell you something. The good thing about network marketing is it doesn't matter what country you're from. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter if you're white, colored, black, Asian, whatever it is, that you have 100% of the skills and qualities to become successful, if you're willing to put in the work. One of my personal philosophies, and I sincerely hope that you adopt this too, is that my belief is that I'm just as good as anyone, but I'm better than no one. What do I mean by that? Well, I honestly believe I'm just as good as the top leadership, the top money earners in this industry. But at the same time, I realize that I'm not better than the newest distributor. And I look at that. What's the difference between you and the top people in the company? Absolutely nothing. The only difference is they're willing to put in the time and the money the money, and the sacrifices to make it happen. If you put in the same amount of time and the same amount of experience as some of these top miners, I guarantee you'll make just as much, if not more. So, like I said, I know Franco and Conrad wanted me to talk a little about the vision, about the industry, where this is going. And, you take a look at Jeunesse. Jeunesse is a company that's doing phenomenal. Jeunesse is a company that's already doing business all around the world, doing over $1 billion in sales, right? Doing $1 billion in sales, has over 200 people making $100,000 a month. Now, why is that important? Well, there's a lot of companies out there, there's a lot of people out there that say their company is the best, and the compensation plan on paper looks like it's the best, but the reality is you got to look at results. Results is the name of the game, okay? I'm so sorry. I just realized my laptop's at 1%. Let me go grab the charger. Conrad, can you take over for 1 minute? I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab the charger.
What's up, guys? Well, I'm not gonna explain what Julian's doing. Obviously, you heard how crazy Julian, guys. I was on a call with him. What was it, 2 nights ago? And it was the first time I got the opportunity to actually talk to him other than just Facebook Messenger, and he absolutely blew my mind. Not only with what he was saying, but how he was saying. And if there's people that jumped on this call now, I know a few people just jumped on this call. I urge you guys to really take down as much notes as possible. Me and Franco is now down, as you can see. Still learning.
Boom.
You're back, brother.
All right. All right. Conrad, are you still there? Can you hear me? Am I still connected?
Yes, you are, brother. You are still communicating with me. Awesome.
All right. All right. So I forgot where I was at, but it's kind of rambling, but I'm just so excited. I mean, you look at the results, the proof is in the results. I mean, when you have 125 countries doing business and you have over 200 people making $100,000 a month, it is working. This is not theory. It is fact. And all we have to do is be willing to follow the system, get ourselves plugged in, and we're going to have results. But that's just the company. You take a look at the leadership. You have people like Cliff Braun, who, in the first 10 years of his career made over $10 million, retired and bought his first Lamborghini at 19, bought a second Lamborghini at 20 years old, lived next door to Britney Spears. You know what I mean? The results are there, but you look at not just the results that we can accomplish for ourselves, but the significance that we can give to others, helping them become successful. That's really where it's at. I know when you first get started, it's all about, hey, man, I want to make more money. I want to have more results. But the power and the fun comes when you're seeing people get started. Day one, lost, confused, whatever it is, and watching them transform their lives and knowing that their lives change because of you. And that's the greatest opportunity that we have. Okay, so again, I'm just going to talk about Jeunesse, what I think Jeunesse is, what I think network marketing is, and just to paint you a picture of why I truly believe that we have one of the greatest opportunities on the planet. For me, Jeunesse is not about making more money. It's not. Can you make more money? Absolutely. For me, Jeunesse is not about improving your health. Can you do that? Absolutely. But it's not about that. Okay? What Jeunesse is for me It is a powerful opportunity. Now, when I say opportunity, the word opportunity, I use that word because it's not a guarantee. Okay, it's not a guarantee. As great as Jeunesse is, as great as Lighthouse is, as great as your leadership is, it's up to you to create the results. It's up to you. You got to take ownership of it. But it's an amazing opportunity. And what kind of opportunity is it? It's an opportunity for us to be able to recreate and redesign our lives however we see fit. Why? Because a lot of us, we're not living our own lives. We're living the lives of other people's thinking. Our whole entire life, from the moment we're born, we're taught all these beliefs and all these ideas of go to school, get good grades, go to college, do this, do that. Nothing wrong with it. But a lot of it, guess what, is not our own choice. A lot of our life was decided for us before we were even born. Once we were born, our name, where we lived, what we did. And so what happens is we're not even living life on our own terms. But why I love Jeunesse and network marketing, it's an opportunity for us to recreate and redesign our lives on our own terms, to have the ability for us to be, do, have whatever it is that we want, no exceptions, no matter what. Because think about it. I don't know what it's like in South Africa, but the United States, depending on where you're born, some people think you're already guaranteed to be broke for the rest of your life, poor or wealthy or rich. And, they fall into that category. You hear stuff like, well, this is just how it is here. This is how it is in our neighborhood. This is how it is in our community, yada, yada, yada. But you know what network marketing allows us to do? Jeunesse allows us to do is say, you know what, F that. You could be, do, have whatever it is that you want. That you're not your past. You are not what's happened. Where you are up until now is the result of who you've been, not necessarily who you are. And what Jeunesse and network marketing gives us the opportunity is to make a choice, to stop, look, and choose, and say, you know what results do I want to have in my life? Who do I want to be? What do I want to create? And give us the platform to go out there and do it. Where, it doesn't look at you based on your skin color, your nationality, your ethnicity. It doesn't even look at your gender. It's the most equal level playing field where anybody can get started and make it happen. And that's what I love. Because you know what? When you get started in Jeunesse, and I don't know how you guys pay, right? But if you get started in Jeunesse, right, and you make a payment, you buy a package, yeah, on the bank statement, it might say that it was paid out to Jeunesse, but really think about it, right? Who was the investment to? It was an investment in you. But you know what else? It was an investment in who you get to be for other people. It's an investment that, you get to be the possibility to make a shift in other people's lives. That's what's powerful about it. That's why I love it. Because now, guess what? How many people do you know out there that are broke? How many people do you know out there that are struggling? How many people do you know out there that are not spending the time with their kids or not spending time with their family? They're not able to do what they love. They're just slaving away, wasting their life. They're praying for an opportunity, and you have an opportunity, and you get to share that with them. That's the power of it. But one of the things that I want to share with you is this. You can't get started in this industry and treat it like a diet. You can't tip your toe in the water like, I hope this is going to work. I'm going to try it out. Because think about it. Most diets don't work. I mean, if you go on a diet, you're going to get some results. You might lose some weight. But as soon as you get the results, what happens? You start going back. Why? There's no commitment to the long term. And what I want to invite you to is getting started in this industry, make a commitment to the long term. Don't make this just a diet. Make this a lifestyle. Make this a lifestyle. Because that's how you're going to create permanent results. Because let me tell you something, network marketing, Jeunesse, is not a small game. It is a huge game. It's a huge opportunity. And you know what it's an opportunity for? For us to choose. For us to choose, am I going to continue living my life out of scarcity? Am I going to continue living my life out of survival, playing it safe, playing the win-lose game? Or am I going to choose to stand in source? Am I going to choose, right, to live an extraordinary life, a life of excellence, to choose to play in the game of win-win? Am I going to choose to stand for the betterment of my life and the lives of others? And that's what Jeunesse gives us. It's such a big movement. You know what I mean? It's not for the average. It's not for people that have a low threshold of extraordinary living. And I share that with you because I'm so passionate about it. And just because of what we can do. And, you have South Africa, you have such great leaders. I mean, imagine just changing the course, changing the whole economics of where you're from. You know what I mean? Having a bunch of friends get started with you and make a lot of money. I mean, it's huge, changing their lives. So let's talk about it. So why Jeunesse? Why network marketing? Well, let's look at the alternatives. Okay, let's be honest. Look at the alternatives. Let's look at school versus Jeunesse, right? Well, both require an investment. Right? Let's be honest, both require an investment, right? People are like, well, why do I have to pay for Jeunesse? Well, I don't have to pay for a job. Well, the same reasons why you don't really pay for a job are the same reasons why most jobs don't pay for you, okay? But let's be honest, right? A lot of places that you have to buy your own uniforms, whatever it is. But school versus Jeunesse, both require an investment. School, you got to pay for the books, you got to pay for tuition, you got to do all that stuff. Jeunesse, same thing. To get started in Jeunesse is less than books in school, it's less than tuition. Okay, but let's also look at the facts, right? When it comes to school, a lot of and this is for the U.S. statistics. I don't know what it's like in South Africa, but I can't imagine it being too different. But you know, you look at school versus Jeunesse. When it comes to school, a lot of college graduates move back in with their parents. Imagine they move out, they go to universities, they do this, they do that, they buy into a dream, and it doesn't quite work out for them. You see, the whole going to school, I honestly believe it worked for the generation before us. It really did. It worked for the generation before us. But now everybody's bought into that plan, and you know what's happening? You have people graduating with the same degree, applying for the same job, and guess who gets the job? It's a person that knows somebody in that company, right? So it's not really fair, right? Guess what? 56% of college graduates will be unemployed. 56%. Can you imagine going to school, investing all that money to have a 56% chance, right? 27% of job, people that find a job, well, it will be outside of their field of study. Can you imagine paying all this money to get a degree, and then when you have the degree, you get a job that has nothing to do with your degree, right? And the reality is you sell yourself to a company. Now, when it comes to network marketing, when it comes to Jeunesse, really, if you're willing to put in the work, it's 100% guarantee. It is. If you're willing to put in the work, the time, and the money, and the sacrifice, you will have the results. Because think about it. There's people that have success, right? 200 people making $100,000 a month. We promote the same company. We have the same products. We have the same comp plan. The only difference is you. If you're willing to do your part, it's going to work out for you. So that's Jeunesse versus school. You know what I mean? 100% guarantee if you're willing to put in the work, right? It's your results. Let's take a look at a job versus Jeunesse, right? A job versus Jeunesse, well, typical job, you have the 40-year plan. Go to work for 40 years, working 40 hours a week, right? And that's what it is, the 40-40 plan. And does that sound really appealing? Most of us don't want to go to a job we hate, working for a boss we hate, for a paycheck we hate. Imagine doing that for 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life. Every day, going home to work, then home to work, homework. Nobody wants to do homework for 40 years of their life. And on the other end, with Jeunesse, with network marketing, you have the 5-year game plan. We condense 40 years into 5 years. What if, some people are like, man, 5 years to become successful is such a long time. Well, what's crazy about that is a lot of people think 5 years to become successful is long, but they don't think 40 years of being broke is a long time. I think 5 years to become successful is a lot better than 40 years of being broke, 40 years of barely getting by, 40 years of not having the things that you want, 40 years of not being able to do the things you want, and more importantly, 40 years of not being able to create the experiences, being a slave to somebody else. I don't know. 5 years is easy, right? And a little fun fact, they say if you stay in network marketing for 5 years straight and you're constantly growing, you're constantly developing yourself, by your 5th year, you should be making $100,000 a year. And you know what's crazy? My 5th year, I made $100,000. They say you stay in the industry for 10 years and you're consistent. By your 10th year, you should be able to make $1 million a year. That's what's crazy. 97% of people make $1 million a year. It's my 10th year, so I'm freaking excited, right? So, stay with it. Now, let's talk about jobs versus Jeunesse still, right? A job, you're working linear income. You work 1 hour, you get paid an hour. Pretty simple, right? You work an hour, you get paid an hour. If you don't work, you don't get paid. Now, what's cool about our company, right, Jeunesse and network marketing, you get paid something called residual income. Doing the work one time, but getting paid over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Our products are amazing. Our products are the best on the market. You get someone to use our products, like the Instantly Ageless. They put the product on, and after 90 seconds, right, their fine lines and wrinkles disappear. There's no other product out there on the market that does that. Think about it. You have people that use that, get results. When they run out, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to buy more. You see, our secret is we create what we call compensated customers. You take a look at how people buy their products, right? Whether it's health and wellness, whatever it is. Some people buy based on brand. Some people buy based on price. Some people buy based on ingredients. Now, no matter how you buy your products, right? If we had a top quality product that's comparable in price, that's better than anything else on the market, and more importantly, we're going to pay you money to promote it to other people, what would you do? Obviously, you'd be a compensated customer because people want to get paid. You're going to use the product anyways. So imagine residual income. The income is going to continue to come in and continue to grow, right? That's how you're going to be able to retire, walk away, and continue to make money. That's what's huge, right? At a job, you're going to work for a boss, right? In network marketing, you get to be your own boss. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be my own boss than work for a boss, right? At a job, guess what? You're going to work for a 401k that might or might not be there when you retire. Well, guess what? With Jeunesse, you're going to create something called generational wealth. Money that's not just for that you can leave to your children, but money you can leave to your children's children and children's children. At a job, you're not going to have tax breaks. I don't know how tax works in Africa, but you're not going to have tax breaks. But here in America, right, when you work network marketing, you're going to have tax benefits. You're going to have tax breaks, right? At a job, guess what? You cannot will it and you cannot sell it. But Jeunesse, you can will it and you can't sell it. You can give it to your children. You can do whatever what it is that you want. Then you take a look at traditional business versus Jeunesse. Traditional business costs about, in the United States, $50,000 to $100,000 to start up. Here in Jeunesse, $300 to $1,200 to start up. A traditional business, possibly no profits for 2 years. Can you imagine that? You start up a traditional business. Talk to anybody that you know that owns a business and ask them, how long did it take you for you to start making profit? And for a lot of businesses, they're probably not even in profit yet. For some businesses, it takes up to 2 years. But you don't see them quitting, right? You don't see people going up to them, have you made money yet, right? Guess what? For us in Jeunesse, you can position yourself to profit in 30 days. In 30 days, just put in the work, get promoted, boom, right? You take a look at a traditional business, you have all this overhead expenses that you're putting money into, but with us, minimum overhead expenses, right? In fact, your top leadership is probably taking care of most of the expenses. Your expenses probably, gas, food, maybe tickets to the event or whatever it is. That's it, right? Compared to a traditional business, I mean, it's crazy, right? So, I mean, it's huge, right? In a traditional business depends on you. In Jeunesse, a business is dependent on a system that we have, and it's an amazing system, okay? So, I mean, in a traditional business, if you want to double your business, you got to double your overhead, right? And scale up additional costs. With us, we just got to double our efforts. Very, very simple. So what it comes down to and what I want to share with you is this. Now that we know why Jeunesse is great, what it's going to take is for you to identify a strong reason why and why you're going to build this business. A why that when you might have 1,000 reasons to quit where you don't want to do it, it's that one reason that's going to keep you going. It's that motivation. You know what I mean? When I look at a why, I think a why means one of two things. It means either what hurts you, because some of us, we run harder to avoid pain. And number two, it's what heals you, what's going to change your life, what's going to make it better. And we need to have that strong why. And we have that strong why. When we have a strong why, we can figure out the how. We can endure anyhow. And the next step is to really understand that there's a learning curve. In fact, there's 4 stages to this business. The first stage is the no money stage. When you get started, you're going to put in way more work than you get paid for. Then you're going to get to the second stage, which is the some money stage, okay, where you're going to put in some work and you're going to get some money. The third stage is you're going to get good money, about $10,000 to $15,000 a month. And then step 4 is the no work, lots of money stage. Here's how network marketing looks like. When you first get started, it looks like this: work, 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 work. Work, 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 work. And then as you start building the business, you start getting results. It's work, 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 check. Work, 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 check. Work, 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 check. And then when you get good, you start getting exactly out of it what you put in. It starts looking like work, check, work, check, work, check, work, check. But you continue to build it. You continue to grow. You continue to develop others. You know what's going to happen? It's going to look like this: check, 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 work. Check, 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 work. Check, 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 work. And it's all a matter, and everybody's going to go through that stage, but guess what? It's all a matter how fast you want to go through it. How much, how fast. And you got to put in the work. That's what's amazing about it, is you got to be willing to put in the work. And here's what I want to tell you: whether you know how to build this business or not, it comes down to commitment. Commit first, figure it out second. Successful people, that's what they do. They commit first and they figure it out second. And, people that fail, they tend to figure everything out first, then they commit. Now, I know I shared a lot of information. It was kind of all over the place. I understand. But I just wanted to really create and paint the picture of you why what we have and why it's better than anything else out there. And more importantly, in a place like South Africa and Namibia, up and coming developing countries, you have a potential ability to become a revolutionary. You have the ability to really change the way everything is looked and everything is done. You know what I mean? You have places like Colombia where the average monthly, income is $300 a month, and you have people over there making $1,000, $2,000 extra a month because of Jeunesse. I mean, think about that. You know what I mean? Your life's changed. You can do that too. You can provide that for the family too. Think outside of yourself. Make a commitment. Declare yourself that you are a leader. That you know what? That you're going to draw the line in the sand that says your life will never be the same. And more importantly, the lives of people that come in contact with you will never be the same. Because what we're going to create is a movement. What I honestly believe, what we have Lighthouse, especially where leadership of Cliff Braun, myself, and all the other leaders like, Conrad and Franco, Graydon, and everybody, we're going to make a big difference. For us, it's not just about helping people make a lot of money, but we're going to change lives. I'm talking about all aspects of lives. Whether it's health, wealth, physical, mental, all that. And, that's what I want to do. My personal vision is to create a world that works for everyone, to create a world that's sustainable. And I know that sounds like a crazy dream, but man, that's my dream. And I really want to end the survival thinking of the world. You know, too many people are operating out of survival. Too many people are operating from scarcity. And I just imagine a world where people just take responsibility for their lives. They take ownership of their lives. There's no more scarcity. There's no more survival. And, you know, if you were to ask me, Julian, you know, what do you think about when you wake up? When I wake up, I just ask myself, you know, how many people can I move, touch, and inspire today? How many lives can I add value to today? Because my personal mission statement is I want to make sure the people I work with, the people that follow me, I want to make sure that when they die, that what they want to say on their epitaph comes true. Now, what's your epitaph? You know, in the United States, when you die, I don't know how it's in South Africa, but when you die, you have a gravestone. On the gravestone says, here lies a beloved man, here lies a beloved woman. When you die, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want people to say about you? My commitment is to make that come true. It's to make that a reality. And you know where that starts? A shift in us, a shift in consciousness, a shift in who we are, more importantly, who we get to be for other people. And you know what? I've been able to accomplish a lot in this industry. I've been able to travel all around the world. You know, I have a beautiful Audi R8 sitting in my driveway right now. You know what I mean? I grew up reading comic books. And let me tell you something. I know I'm never going to get bit by a radioactive spider and become Spider-Man. You know, I know I'm not going to get injected with the super serum and become Captain America. But I honestly believe the two greatest superpowers you can have is money. I mean, you look at someone like Batman, no superpowers, just has a lot of money, commitment, and work ethic, and he can stand up there with gods and giants. And you know, I totally just geeked out, nerded out right now. But you know what? That's what I believe, and that's what makes me special. So I love myself, anyways. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass it back to Conrad. I know I spoke for quite a while, and you know, whatever questions Conrad has for me or whatever it is, you know, I want to open it up and give you guys a chance to hear that.
Thanks, Julian. Please, dude. I'm trying to process all of it. It's like I'm having a network marketing gasm here. No pun intended. I just wrote down a few questions that I think a few people that are on the other side of this call are thinking about. So, Julian, if you can hear me, can you mute your microphone quickly?
Yes.
Okay, cool. The first question is, I know there's quite a few new people here that joined in the last few weeks. So the question is, I'm new, what do I do?
You're new, what do you do? Okay, very simple. I'll make it super simple. Go executive in the first 24 to 48 hours. That's really all it is just going executive. You know, I'll share with you a story. I don't want to keep people too long, but I'll share with you a story, and I'll stay as long as you guys want me to. And if I ever talk too much, Conrad, just tell me, hey, Julian, you're talking too much. Hey, back here, okay? I love martial arts, right? And not because I'm Asian, but I love martial arts. Maybe because I'm Asian, right? But I love martial arts. And, you know, I study MMA and everything like that. And I'll share with you a story. There's this family. You know, one day they're driving home and, you know, they get in a horrible car accident. Their son, who's like maybe like 2 or 3 at the time, you know, gets badly hurt and loses an arm. So imagine as a parent, you feel guilty, you feel bad. And this kid grows up with only one arm. And, you know, it's constantly getting made fun of, constantly laughed at. And then one day for the kid's 15th birthday, they said, we can't do this. You know, our son has no confidence. He has no belief in himself. We need to do something. And the son decides to enroll him into martial arts, enroll him into judo. He figures, hey, man, you know, if the kid has something to work on, has discipline, you know what, you know, can build up his confidence, and more importantly, he can defend himself. So he enrolls him into the best school in the area with this grandmaster, okay, this grandmaster judo teacher. He says, hey, look, my son has one arm. He's picked on. He's made fun of. He has no confidence. Can you train my son? And the judo master says, okay, I'll train your son. And they start training. And, you know, the first couple of weeks they practice this one move. They practice over and over again. Months go by. They're only practicing one move. That's it. 1 year goes by, the same move. Finally, the dad gets upset. He goes, why do you keep, I'm paying you money to teach my son. Why do you keep teaching my son the same move over and over again while all these other kids are teaching all these different drills, everything like that? And the master says, do you trust me? And dad goes, yes. He goes, just trust me. And then another year goes by, just practicing one move. And now the kid gets upset. He goes, why do we keep learning this one move? Is it because I have one arm? Is it because I'm not as capable as everybody else? You know what I mean? If it is, just tell me, it's okay. You know, and the master goes, just trust me. About 2 years in, they enroll him into a judo competition. Now, this is a world championship, right? The kid goes, I never competed before. Why the hell am I here? Right? You know, and he says, just trust me. And they go into the first competition. Everybody's watching. They're laughing because this kid has one arm. They think it's a huge publicity stunt, right? And he goes in, and then the bell rings, ding, ding, ding. Guess what? 15 seconds, boom, pins him down. Everybody's like, what the heck just happened? Goes in the second round, boom, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, makes it all the way to the finals. The mom's freaking out. The mom goes, man, you know what? He's doing so well. Let's quit while we're ahead. The guy that he's fighting is a 3-time world champion. And he goes, just trust me. So they go in. This guy's a 3-time world champion. This is, the kid's first tournament. Bell rings. They go in. They're struggling. They're going back and forth, right? The guy grabs him, and he reverses it, and he pins him down, and he wins. This kid with one arm wins the whole championship. He's crying. I mean, it's unbelievable. Everybody's cheering, everything's like that. And he pulls his master aside, and he goes, I don't understand how I won. I've only learned one move. And the teacher says, you won because of 2 reasons. He says, number one, the first reason why you won is you just mastered the deadliest move in judo. You spent the first 2.5 years just mastering the deadliest move. You didn't learn all the other moves, just the deadliest move, the most effective move in judo. That's why you won. And he goes, what's the second reason? He goes, the second reason why you won is because the only way to counter that move is to grab your left arm, but you don't have a left arm. So the reason why I share that story is very, very simple. What's the deadliest move in jeunesse? Is promoting executives. Executives is the reason why. If you're not yet executive, get to executive. Why? Because when you go executive, getting one left and one right, you've already mastered 100% of the skills to get promoted. I mean, really think about it. What is a jade? A jade is 4 executives. So if you can go executive, can you help 4 people go executive? Absolutely. You help 4 people go executive, you're jade. Well, what's the difference between a pro and a jade? A pro has 8 executives. So if you can help one person, if you can go executive, can you help 8 people go executive? Yeah, now you're a pro. Right? What's a sapphire? A sapphire is 12 executives. If you can go executive, can you help 12 people go executive? Yes, you're now a sapphire. That's the only difference. The only difference between you and the top ranks is the top ranks has promoted more executives. So many of us focus on volume, and so many of us focus on getting paid. But the reality is, if we only focus on getting paid and focus on getting volume, that's all we're going to get. But if you focus on promoting executives, guess what you're going to have? You're going to get all of it. So the first step is to go executive. First 24, 48 hours, one on the left, one on the right. The faster you do it, the faster you can take your team to do it. That's the easiest way I can explain it, just going executive.
Oh, thanks. That's beautiful. I love that story though. I'm gonna steal that story. I hope you don't have any copyright on that.
All yours.
Before we end off, the last question that I think a few of the other people have is basically, I'm in it for a while, but not really seeing the results that I hope for.
Okay.
What do I do?
Perfect. If you've been in it for a while, you're not getting results. If you're open to it, okay? If you're open to it, I would sincerely talk to your top leadership and ask them for honest feedback on how you're showing up. And that's the reality of it. I mean, it's not just the activity. We're all going to invite, we're all going to present, we're all going to close, we're all going to train, we're all going to launch people. And I know sometimes it's frustrating because we're working hard, and sometimes people, you need to work harder. And you get frustrated because you're working harder. Well, the way it works is this. You got to do your best. But the reality is doing our best is not enough. My best is different than Cliff's best, right? And your best is different than my best. The key is to do your best. And if you're stuck, here's what's reality. Is something's missing. There's something that you're not getting. You're hitting the lid of your knowledge or skill and ability. So when you start hitting that lid, you know what you do? You talk to the top leadership. You start reading the book so you can improve yourself, so you can grow yourself. Because when you're doing your best, until when? You know better. Once you know better, guess what you do? You do your best. And so if you've been in it for a while, you're not getting results, I would sincerely look at your attitude, and I would talk to the top leadership and see what you're missing. See what skills you can develop, what you can work on. And and just be consistent with it. I mean, think about it. If you're a kid, you're raising a child, and the child's learning how to walk, does it really matter how many times it falls down? Or are you gonna be like, all right, son, you've been doing this for a while, and obviously you're not learning how to walk, so just crawl for the rest of your life? No, you're gonna be committed. You're gonna do it until, right? You're gonna learn what's missing, and you're gonna keep practicing it. And that's why I recommend, talk to top leadership, reach out to them, let go of your pride, reach up and say, hey man, you know what? I need help. There's something I don't know, and I want to make this thing happen. Trust me, we want to help. We want to support. I mean, you look at Conrad, you look at Franco, one day they just messaged me on Facebook saying, hey, you know what? Can we chat it up? I want to ask you some questions. There's things that we want to do to improve our business, and we want to get insight from you. That's how simple it is. Honestly, that's why network marketing is amazing. If you go out in the real world, you talk to the most successful people, they're going to be like, F off. I don't know who you are. I don't have time for this. But network marketing, we get paid to make sure you do well. In fact, we love it. We're paying it forward. So reach out for help. That's what I would say. If you're not having results and you've been in for a while, reach out for help. You know what the good news is? You've been in for a while. That's the good news. You know what the hardest thing about this business is learning not to quit and learning to stay committed and learn to stick with it. And the good news is if you've been in it for a while, whether you made money or not, you mastered the hard part about this business. Now all you need is some direction, some guidance, and boom, you're there.
Whoa. Okay, I did not expect that. That was absolutely amazing, guys. Wherever you guys are, I just want to say to Julian, thank you so much for making time in your busy schedule for us out here in Africa. We really highly appreciate your perspective, your knowledge, and your expertise. So just before we end off, massive thanks, massive shout out to Cliff, massive shout out to Great, and to everyone on this call. I know it's Friday night and you could have literally been anywhere else but on this call. So for those of you that are on this call that are hearing me speak right now, just look where you are right now. You're speaking to literally, or listening to one of the next top entrepreneurs in the world, and all your friends, with respect, are partying, getting drunk, or doing nothing quite as productive as this. So I really urge you to take what Julian said tonight and really bold, and let's take this to the next level. But just on a side note, guys, please remember the bonus is running from now till the 30th of April. Franco and I are investing in you guys. You guys know, sign 5 basic packages. We give you a bonus of 125 US dollars. Sign 5 supreme packages and we give you a bonus of 300 US dollars. So basically, you have the potential to make an extra 800 US dollars. And what a victory story that is if someone comes up to you and asks you, hey, how much money you've made. But guys, I love you. I'll speak to you soon. Hit up on Facebook. Hit us up on Facebook. Let's take this thing to the next level, and I'll see you guys soon. Much love.